It's TMNT time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with the Universal Monsters. It's Donatello as the Invisible Man. And thank God he's all bandaged up and we're not just getting an empty box. That would be a publicity stunt. But continuing the lineup of the Universal Monsters crossing over with the TMNT, shoutouts to the old school toy. Really a throwback in a modern version. Upgraded, updated, and super detailed. You got the window box as it is standard for NECA figures. So if you just want to look at the figure from the box, you can do that, but I want to take it out. So let's get into the review. He is quite tall, one of the tallest turtles I've ever had. He stands at about 16.5 centimeters to the top of his turtle head, which means we are going up to 6.3-ish inches. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, Vintage Playmates Donatello, the 2003 Donatello, 2012 Donatello, NECA Movie Donatello, and Darkseid.
Overall, look and detail. I love the design of the figure. It really captures that old school monster vibe, and you have some cool ideas here and there. However, there's some things mostly in the paint, and I know I looked at it and might come off a little bit nitpicky, but I'm just gonna say how I feel about it. First of all, you got the bandages, which there's not really any shading going on. There's not really any dirt effect. I mean, they're nicely molded, but I feel like they look a little bit too clean for my taste. Also, you have the goggles. Same thing, I would have expected them to be shiny in the front part. Those are minor things, especially with the goggles, because the paint on there is good for the most part. I say good because you see some bleeding over here and a little bit on the side. You do have the see-through shell, which I thought was a really cool idea. It's a nice see-through plastic shell, but you do have the pizza pieces in there, and this entire like monster vibe is a lot more serious, a lot more darker. So this to me is just kind of goofy. Again, might sound a little bit nitpicky, but I'm not really a fan of the pizza slice in there. It's like haha funny, but it's a monster! It's supposed to be scary! Alright, then we have the belt, which wraps around, and it has a nice mold and actually paint on there. It looks like leather, and it also feels like leather, but it's obviously not leather, but it's plastic. It's a little soft plastic, a little rubbery, also for the elbow pads. And then you got the entire gray coat with the scarf under there. We do have some shading going on, but same thing as with everything, I'm gonna bicker that I wish the shading would have been a little bit darker. Because as it is, you have the gray and it's just like kind of like a brownish shading going on, and it just looks kind of meh. It doesn't really stand out, it kind of fades into the entire coat, and as such, maybe that was the idea, but as such I'm not the biggest fan. I also have some gloves which have some detail on the front part and down to the jeans actually, and jeans have some nice shading on there. I feel like they applied probably the same shading that they did on the coat, but on the jeans it looks better because it's blue. Although it's also a lot thicker on the lower half than it is on the upper half, so I don't know. You can't win with this one. And then we have the some more detail down here, and the feet, which are also nicely wrapped, and we have some see-through plastic sticking through it. And is it just me, like, I think the feet are like a lot more, the bandages on the feet have a little bit of yellow going on. Those look a little bit more dirty than the head, so that makes sense. I mean, if you're walking through the sewer and whatnot, I would expect it to be a little bit dirty. Actually, more than it is. But anyway. For the articulation, starting off with the head sculpt, you can move the head itself back and forth, and also tilt side to side. But it's kind of hard to show you without moving the neck, so I can't really hold on to the neck. So we're just gonna try both of these. Back, forward is okay. It's really blocked by the entire design because you don't really have much room around the head, but you know, it's okay, I guess. Then we have a hinge in the shoulder, can bring that up and down, and can also be freely rotated. The double hinged elbow, and another hinge in the hand area, so you can bring that back and forth. They left a lot of room in there, so that's much appreciated. For the entire torso, I didn't really expect anything, but yeah, The entire coat part is soft plastic and it's just draped over the rest of it, and it does leave some gaps, but you can play around with the belt, pull that up a little bit, so you can cover that up, and I really enjoy this. Looking at the figure, I didn't expect anything to be movable in the torso, so that we have this. It's still limited, but it's cool. It's cool to have something. Then for the legs, moves forward, nice enough, but for the rest, it's pretty much blocked by the entire coat. Doesn't really go to the back and not really to the side. Then we have the double hinged knee. That's as much as I get out of it. Maybe you can push the upper half a little bit further, but I'm not getting anything. We do have a swivel on the foot and a beautiful pivot. Go side to side. And also the hinge, which is painted, so it's been flaking off color for the last 2 minutes when I'm trying it out. Now, of course, it doesn't do that anymore, but would have been nice for the video. Anyway, articulation is pretty standard. For your accessories, you do have hands. You have like one pointy finger and grabby hands. You gotta split those up. And we have, speaking of holding, well, this is more like holding hands, these ones, and then we have like bigger ones. Almost the same, I don't really see that much of a difference, but yeah, there we go. And you also have see-through hands. Be careful with that. The peg is not see-through. Smart, Neca, let me show you. The peg is not see-through, that means it doesn't break off as easily. That's really good. Good job, Neca. Good job. But seriously, I hate, like, see-through packs are the most fragile thing you can put in there. So the fact that they just were like, no, we're not gonna do that. That's huge bonus points, because I hate that. I hate when I do that. So we also have see-through feet, which also have a real joint in there, and not some see-through garbage that's just gonna break off after you move it around twice. So that's really cool. Double thumbs up. I'm not kidding. I'm actually freaking excited about that. What I'm also freaking excited about is this head sculpt. It looks really cool. We don't have any see-through plastic in there. They were just like, you know what? We're gonna hollow it out, put it back together, and it does look freaking creepy. I don't know where the hair comes from, because Donatello usually don't have hair. But, I mean, I guess this is the monster version. But yeah, this is a great looking head sculpt. We do have a hat to mask the fact that he's a bandaged up, invisible turtle, right? Now, it's just kind of part of the look. It looks very nice. Also, by the way, nice and molded, and the paint on there is clean. We do have a book, a TGRI, so he can study about the use. Also nicely molded, and paint job on here is really nice. And a little bit of a dirt effect on the side. You have a microscope, which, considering how dirty everything is, this is way too clean. I don't know. Inconsistent. I'm just, you know, I'm not really complaining, but I'm kind of complaining. It's not a valid complaint, but still. The microscope looks great, by the way, because the paint on there is really clean. Nothing that really goes over the line, and the line work on here is like really minimal. Like there's like really small detail. And finally, we do have the bow staff, which, holy freaking hell, this is so big. It's like one of the longest bow staffs I've ever seen. And there's also a dirt effect on there, which should have been on the bandages on the feet. I know, I can't let it go, but still. I mean, a bow staff, it's a bow staff, it's big, yay! Final thoughts, and yeah, I've been bickering a little bit throughout the review that I just find the color and the paint job on this figure kinda dull. But what really elevates it is a decent, pretty good, again, I don't want to be overly negative, but it's a good design. I think it could have been done better. What really elevates it for me are like the amount of accessories. You have a lot of cool things to play around, like the see-through feet and hands and whatnot. And also, by the way, I forgot to mention, you can take the goggles off, then you just get this blank see-through plastic in there. This looks really scary, by the way, so I like that. I like that version. So, I mean, overall, it's still a solid release in the monster lineup, so I can't really complain too much. I just would have wished it would have been a little bit more interesting. But that's just me. I still recommend it because it is a pretty solid figure. Nothing really super bad about it, but again, design-wise and whatnot, execution could have been a bit more interesting. But it's still well done. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whenever Donatello as the Invisible Man wants. Also, by the way, why is he called the Invisible Man and not Turtle?